Donald Trump has been missing in action lately. And honestly, it's been a little bit of a relief. The news cycle hasn't really been dominated by his tweets and his nonsense. But Rush Limbaugh died today. And Trump was invited on Fox News to share his thoughts. Maybe he has some kind words for Rush Limbaugh. Maybe he wants to reflect on the memory of Rush Limbaugh. But remember, it's very on brand for Donald Trump to do what you're about to watch in this wonderful compilation put together by Jordan Uhl.
And he was one of the people that said we were going to win. He thought we were going to win. Well, Rush thought we won. So do I, by the way. I think we won substantially. And Rush thought we won. I was disappointed by voter tabulation. And a lot of other people feel that way too, but Rush felt that way strongly. And many people do. Many professionals do. I think it's disgraceful what happened. We were like a third world country on election night with the closing down of the centers and all of the things that happened late in the. And I don't think that could have happened to a Democrat. You would have had riots going all over the place if that happened to a Democrat. We don't have the same support at certain levels of the Republican system. And he was furious at it. And many people are furious. You don't know how angry this country is. He was somebody that really felt that was a very important victory for us. We should have had it, that we did have it. But he was somebody that felt that was a very important election, and I did too. I did too. You see what's happening now. We played golf together a little bit. He was a very strong guy, physically very strong, hit the ball a long way.
He finally said something about him. Probably wasn't true, but he said it.
I will say this. His commentary about Rush Limbaugh and him remembering Rush Limbaugh was certainly far more kind than anything I have to say about Rush Limbaugh. So I'll give him that. But of course, it's so on brand for Trump to make this about him and about repeating, by the way, the very same lies that led to a violent riot in our nation's capital where, a cop was killed, 5 people total died. He was impeached for it. It's just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. He doesn't care, He's emboldened by the fact that he never has to suffer the true consequences of his actions because Republican lawmakers are so pathetic, so weak, so cowardly, so feckless, and so self-interested in their own political careers that they'll let him get away with anything, including doing something that incited violence toward them as they were in the Capitol, counting electoral votes. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I found your hypothetical to be amazing. The hypothetical where there was some riot that you were talking about, which is something that would happen had this happened to a Democrat. You guys said before the show that he had called in and had talked about how he won. I had no idea how long it would go on, and I imagine that wasn't the whole thing. That's the sort of thing where, like, in an episode of Seinfeld, it'd be a montage, and it'd just be like an ashtray with more cigarettes like in it. He just kept talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and that's insane to me. He's been gone for weeks. This is the first, at least for me, maybe he did something else. This is the first I've actually heard him speak since the inauguration. And now I have to assume that every minute from then to now has been filled with him just repeating it was a terrible thing, the thing that happened with all the things that happened and they stole it and how could they? And he's still, but to do it because he knows it doesn't matter. Like, he can continue to say it was stolen, the mob was right to try to overthrow it. We didn't have enough support from certain levels of the Republican Party structure to do what? I don't know, but presumably to steal the election. And no one who voted to acquit him has to explain themselves. They're not going to face any questions about that. It's just absurd. He might never stop talking about this. Remember how long he spent talking about Hillary Clinton after he already beat her? He was obsessed with that years after he won. What is it going to be like years after he lost?
John, the Obama birth certificate thing. He doesn't let things go. And it doesn't matter how much evidence there is disproving whatever he's believing at any given moment. You're right. I mean, he is going to push this lie regardless of what the consequences may be for everyone else. Obviously, he doesn't get to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
Dude, just let it sink in for a second. I know we've said this before, but it never gets old. Like it's shocking every time I really stop and think about it. On the day of the riots, Trump told his supporters that he was going to march to the Capitol with them, giving them a reason to believe that the violence that they were about to engage in, breaching the Capitol building, everything they did had some legitimacy in it, right? Legitimacy to it, because the president of the United States is encouraging us to do it. In fact, he's going to be there with us. And he turned around and went to the White House and watched TV as these insurrectionists engaged in the criminality that they're now facing federal charges for.
Yeah.
And Trump's not going to save them from their criminal charges. They're on their own. It's just amazing. And he just keeps doing it because, hey, I mean, if the Republican Party refuses to hold him accountable, why would he stop?
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.